Stages of language acquisition is composed of 5 stages, and those stages are pre-production, early production, speech emergent, intermediate fluency, and advanced fluency. Stage 1, the pre-production stage, or the silent period stage, is the stage in which students may not know the language, but they nod and do gestures to answer what others have asked them. They could also emulate gestures of movement to show they really know what they're talking about. And in this stage, it is recommended for students to have a buddy or a classmate that speaks the same language so they do not feel overwhelmed while learning a new language. The duration of this stage is from 10 hours to 6 months, and while in that stage, students may have learned a vocabulary of 500 words, but sadly, they still do not speak the language. Stage 2, early production, is a stage in which students have a limited understanding in the English language. In this stage, students already know and are aware of the main idea they are asked, though they may not know all the words the people are telling them. Also in this stage, they answer with yes or no when they're asked the question instead of nodding and gesturing. And they could also make up phrases of 2 words such as thank you, though they still may mispronounce words that are saying, but they at least are understood by others. This stage lasts 6 months after the pre-production stage, and students are already experiencing a vocabulary of about 1,000 words they have as a reference in their learning experience. Stage 3, speech emergence stage, is a stage in which students have acquired good comprehension of the English language. In this stage, they are also improving their articulation by practicing new vocabulary words or words they could hear in their everyday life. They could also recall facts they have learned in school with summarization and retells from books or texts. They answer with simple phrases like I am okay, with some errors, but they are now verbalizing with English native speakers they could have a conversation with. In this stage, students will stay there for about a year, but will acquire a 3,000 word vocabulary used to communicate with others. Stage 4, intermediate fluency, is a stage in which students speak at length with others and have excellent comprehension with the language. In here, they use more complex statements and speech patterns to communicate often with others, though they may still do it with some errors. In this stage, now they are trying to think in the language they're learning instead of the language they already know, which lets them debate with others on topics they are learning in the classroom. Now, students will have a vocabulary that extends to 6,000 words for their own personal use, and in this stage, they will stay there for about 1 more year after the speech emergent stage. Stage 5, advanced fluency, is the last stage of the language acquisition stages in which students begin to broadly interact with other native speakers. Now they could comprehend high levels of academics, but still may not understand some of the language that is being used in school. Though they are eager to learn that new vocabulary word they still do not know. And now, students, with all they have learned, can produce written and oral language the same way a native speaker can, which lets them participate to the fullest in school and lets them become near to native speakers. in English because that's the language they're trying to acquire.